Pi Network is about to walk into its biggest spotlight ever. Token 2049 in Singapore. And what happens there could completely rewrite its future. We're talking about a $100 million fund, a critical blockchain upgrade to version 23, and maybe, finally, a clear roadmap for the mainnet launch and token listings. But here's the shocking part. The community isn't sure whether this will be Pi's breakout moment or a total disappointment. Today, we're breaking down everything at stake. Why Token 2049 could make or break Pi Network, and what this means for every pioneer watching. Token 2049 isn't just another crypto conference. It's one of the most high-profile events in the entire industry, hosted in Singapore on October 1st and 2nd. It's where the biggest names in blockchain, founders, investors, and innovators, announce the updates that shape the future of crypto. And this year, Pi Network's founder, Chengdiao, is scheduled to deliver a keynote. For a project that claims over 100 million users worldwide, this isn't just big, it's monumental. The Pi community has been waiting years for transparency, and the expectation is simple. Pi has to deliver answers. The questions everyone is asking. When is the mainnet finally launching? When will Pi be listed on major exchanges? How will the $100 million Pi Ventures Fund actually be used? Token 2049 could be the place where Pi finally sets the record straight. Or, it could be another vague update that leaves pioneers more frustrated than ever. Right now, Pi's blockchain is evolving fast. Not long ago, Testnet 1 upgraded from version 19 to version 22, and now the Pi core team is preparing to launch version 23. This isn't just a minor update, it's a critical leap forward for Pi's scalability and performance. Here's why it matters. Version 23 is designed to process higher transaction volumes, which means smoother payments and fewer network slowdowns. It lays the technical foundation for Pi to become more interoperable with other blockchains. That means Pi could eventually interact with the wider crypto ecosystem instead of being isolated. It also enhances security and stability, making sure Pi doesn't buckle when millions of new transactions flood the system during open mainnet. Pi influencers like Dr. Altcoin are pushing hard for this upgrade, saying, the faster these upgrades happen, the faster Pi gets to mainstream adoption. And they're right. Without version 23, Pi risks being left behind in a market where speed and scalability are everything. The community knows this, and that's why all eyes are on Token 2049. Will Pi showcase version 23 as a real turning point, or will it remain just another promise? Now here's the elephant in the room. Pi still hasn't released a clear roadmap. We're 6 years into this project, and despite having one of the largest user bases in crypto, there's no official timeline for mainnet launch, exchange listings, ecosystem milestones, and that lack of clarity is dangerous. It creates uncertainty, fuels rumors, and weakens trust in the project. Communities thrive on progress, and without visible milestones, many pioneers are starting to ask tough questions. The Pi core team has always promised a full ecosystem with peer-to-peer transfers and decentralized applications. But 6 years later, Pi is still in a regulatory gray zone. The result? A growing gap between hype and delivery. Dr. Altcoin summed it up perfectly. We need concrete milestones to gauge the project's future success. Without them, even the most loyal pioneers could lose faith. Token 2049 is Pi's chance to finally show the roadmap the community has been begging for. Back at the Pi 2 Day 2025 event, the team introduced the Pi App Studio, an AI-powered, no-code platform where anyone could build decentralized apps and chatbots inside the Pi browser. The announcement created massive buzz, and within weeks, over 7,900 DApps were created. That sounded like a breakthrough moment for Pi's ecosystem. But here's the problem. Progress has stalled. Updates have been scarce, and many developers say the platform is harder to use than expected. Community voices like Woody Lightyear have openly criticized the lack of features and the difficulty of building truly useful apps. For a network with 100 million users, the App Studio was supposed to be the gateway to real utility. Instead, it risks becoming another half-built promise unless the core team delivers major improvements. That's why TOKEN2049 is critical. Pi has to showcase new features, better usability, and proof that developers can thrive on the platform. The $100 million Pi Ventures Fund, where is the money going? Perhaps the biggest headline is Pi's $100 million Pi Ventures Fund, created to boost adoption and support startups that bring real-world use cases to Pi. On paper, this sounds like a massive step toward mainstream relevance. But here's the problem: the community doesn't know where that money is going. There's been almost no transparency about which projects are funded, what progress they've made, or how the $100 million is being allocated. Dr. Altcoin and others are demanding full transparency. Show us case studies. Show us proof that this fund is supporting meaningful projects. Without that, the fund risks being dismissed as nothing more than a marketing stunt. TOKEN2049 gives Pi the perfect chance to pull back the curtain. If they can highlight real startups, real partnerships, and real-world use cases funded by Pi Ventures, it could electrify the community and restore trust. But if they stay vague, the doubts will only grow louder. Why TOKEN2049 matters so much: this isn't just another update, it's the biggest turning point in Pi's history. TOKEN2049 is where Pi can either prove it's building the future of Web3 or risk being labeled as yet another stalled crypto experiment. If Pi delivers a clear roadmap with milestones, a live demo of version 23, transparency on the $100 million fund, and real progress with the App Studio, then pioneers walk away believing Pi is ready for open mainnet, ready for exchanges, and ready to compete with the giants. But if Pi fails to provide clarity, the community's patience, already stretched thin, could finally break, and the momentum Pi has been building for 6 years could collapse overnight. So here's the question: will TOKEN2049 be Pi Network's biggest breakthrough, or its biggest letdown? The stakes couldn't be higher. Smash that like button if you're rooting for Pi to finally step up. Subscribe with the bell on so you don't miss the updates from Singapore, and drop a comment. Do you think Pi is ready for $100 million level adoption, or is it still too far from reality? Because one thing's certain, the truth will be exposed on October 1st.